dude he is. My God.
So we'll see here. I mean, the Vikings, so they've checked boxes at safety and cornerback. We're all still kind of – there was a big run on wide receivers here. So, but it's an offensive coach. Most of the moves they've made so far outside of the veteran sort of, like Chris Reed, the veteran guard that they signed, they've signed Harrison Phillips. They signed Jordan Hicks. A lot of defensive players in free agency, and the first 2 picks in the draft, defensive players. When will they go offense? When will they go center? Where did you have, by the way, so PFF's second best center on the board is the Arizona State kid.
Oh, Donovan West?
Donovan West. Is that an option here for the Vikings? And they're going to pick in a second, so get your take out.
I hate to disagree with PFF. I would have him a bit lower. I do have him a bit lower. Item is the 14th interior offensive lineman. I think, Let's see, who do we trying to catch up on some of these guys who have gone here recently. Is Kennard still out there?
I don't have a Kennard off of the board here.
Okay,
it looks like he's out.
So Darian Kennard would probably be my top dude. Is Juergens still out there? Or did Juergens just get taken?
Juergens got selected by the Eagles a few picks ago.
Okay, so Kennard is probably the best guard left, and I know Gadecki just went off too. Parham, if he's still so Parham's the guy that can play both center and guard, so he would give you the option of starting at guard this coming season, which the Vikings need.
There it is.
Yeah,
definitely. We got to pick. You got to tell us who this is. Ed Ingram to the Vikings. Who is that?
Interesting. Okay, so he's an LSU guard. He tested pretty well. I got him. I had him a little bit lower than some of them guys. I had him 12, but I did have him above Donovan West for whatever it's worth. But he tested pretty good. He's built a little squat. He's 6'3", 6'3" and a half or so, 312. Tested 74th percentile in terms of his size-adjusted athleticism. It's kind of interesting that they went that way with him over some of the, like Kennard, for instance. But he is more athletic than Kennard for sure. He's a little bit, how would you say, unorthodox. So, some of his movements are a bit unorthodox. Sometimes one of my complaints with him was that sometimes you'll see him leaning on guys a little bit. But he's very, very talented. Like, that's a kid that's been playing at that school for a long time. Yeah. Like, even in 2019, he was starting games. Although he might have gotten injured that year or something. I forget. But anyhow, he'd been around there for a long time. Very, very talented. Was playing almost right away when he signed with LSU. And obviously, initially in his career, they were awesome. As far as the athleticism, he better than some of that. Is more athletic than some of those guys that I was talking about before. So Ed Ingram is almost assuredly going to be starting at guard next season, but he's not going to give you the center flexibility that, for instance, Dylan Parham would have.
Okay, so he's not an option at center then. Okay,
I don't think so.
Okay. 22 starts in college among 34 starts at left guard, 12 at right guard. This very interestingly means that they are, for all apparent purposes, bailing on Wyatt Davis. Because if you're going to take if you're going to take this kid in the second round, you're not screwing around. Davis, a third round pick. This clearly means that there's something up there because this pushes Davis depth chart wise way back.
I have for you guys the NFL.com scouting report on Ed Ingram here, and we're going to go line by line in all of its football glory here. He displaces the gap on down blocks with hearty shoves. Agree or disagree, Thor?
I love the way that Lance, with his language or some of them, because he's one of the best at that. Because, in scouting reports with 400 guys, you got to word it differently sometimes. And I just think he's so creative sometimes with the way, because you got to think of different ways to say, he blocks the piss out of the guy across from him.
No, you really don't, Thor. That's a perfect way to put it. I would read that every time. If they had that for everyone they like.
He's able to generate quality pop on the move.
That's for sure.
I like this one. Upper body twitch to smack a gap shooter.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Baldy likes that.
Oh,
Brian Baldinger
inject that into my veins.
Football.
Okay, choppy feet setting to the rush and instincts to smell a rat with blitzes and twists. Yeah,
He's got football instincts.
Yeah, that's almost poetic. That is poetic. That's poetry.
Thor's about to start crying.
On the downside,
This is so emotional.
he lacks the desired girth through thighs and calves. That's
Well.
never been said about me.
Okay.
Disconnected movements between upper and lower body. Tight hips prevent desired lift into the block. And tardy in adjustments and finding positioning for blocks at the second level.
I think what Lance is saying is what I was saying with unorthodox, but he's just more creative than I am.
Yeah.
Can you interpret that entire thing? Because it's like trying to read French. Am I right about Davis, Thor, or is there a possibility? And I don't think so, but I'll throw this out because he is a third-round pick, which means that's a fairly high investment. Is there any chance that they would give him an opportunity to compete with Bradbury? Because he did he was doing some work in training camp last year. He clearly fell out of favor, so there's no question something went wrong. But the only other thing I can think of, unless he's just going to be completely buried on the depth chart and possibly cut, is that he might get a chance to transition to center. Is there a possibility there, do you think?
Yeah, so I was looking up his bio because I didn't remember him starting at do you guys remember him starting at Ohio State at center? Okay, yeah.
He did not.
I didn't think so. I thought he was a pure.
They had him working there last training camp. That was it. That's the only reason I asked.
Okay, yeah. So, I don't know how far he progressed with that. But yeah, I mean, if you can at least feel okay about him, then maybe he could give you that insurance with Bradbury that we've been talking about, for a month now, about like hoping to get someone where if Bradbury stinks again, that you can maybe get him out of there. Right. And then also, I mean, having the depth in there. I mean, the Vikings we talked about it. They needed at least one starter in the interior, maybe even two, but also they needed the depth behind those guys. So, I mean, at least if Davis could learn how to play center, he'd give you the insurance behind Bradbury, but he could also potentially be a backup for all three positions under the assumption that he's going to lose out in the starting job to Ingram. But I'm sure they're going to give him a good faith opportunity to compete with Ingram for that job. I just think that probably Ingram's going to beat him out.
Okay.
The Vikings do still have, so here's sort of the setup for the rest of the evening here. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they've got the 66th pick. I'm trying to go through all the different trades, but the 66th pick I think is their last pick of the night because they traded the 77th along with the 53rd and the 192 to get up to 42, and they got the 122. So as of right now, I believe the 66th pick, which is coming up pretty shortly here, is their final pick of the evening. So, by the way, Thor, if we're keeping you from doing your actual job, then
no.
Okay. Otherwise,
no.
we love
like,
kicking around with you. So
you guys are good.
he's like, no, I quit that actually 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, to hang out with you guys for sure.
Yeah.
And just since we've been showering our sponsors with love here tonight because they keep the lights on for us, thanks to Federated Mutual Insurance Company. The Vikings are looking for some insurance along the offensive line. And the offensive line is all about risk management, tools and resources, which you can find through Federated if you're a business owner. They've been around for over 100 years. They're based in Owatonna, and they specialize in a core group of industries that they absolutely know like the back of their hand inside and out. So if you want a full list of those industries and see if they match your business, go to federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. So,
Phil, did you do that off the fly with the offensive line and the offensive line?
Thor, I am a wildly talented professional media member. Okay?
You are. That was impressive. That was really good.
I have two talents. One of them is yacht rock music name offs, and the other one is transitioning into podcast ad reads. Those are like the only two things that I am above average at in life.
Best in the business. I've always said that.
So I think the Bengals are on the clock right now with the 60th pick, and then the Vikings are going to be 5 picks away early in the third round. What else is out there right now as we kind of fly through these picks here? If you're the Vikings and you're looking at your position of needs, but maybe at this point more best player available in value here, is there anything that stands out to you in the next 6 or 7 picks, Thor?
Well, so, I'd expect them to take a receiver at some point. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday, but they're going to go from playing some of the most 2 wide receiver sets in the league, you'd think, to playing some of the most 3 wide receivers. At least that's how the Rams did it. I like KJ, I like him as much as the next guy, but You'd think that they would want to upgrade that spot, the third receiver spot, if they're going to use that guy way more than the previous coaching staff did. In terms of that, Kelvin Austin, I feel like is a guy that's going to go pretty soon. He tested just like Tyreek Hill did, basically the same composite, except like 12 pounds less. Also, he's probably this class is Tutu Atwell, from last year, except he's more diversified. Like he was a better player in college. I think he tested even a little bit better. Tutu, with the same sort of speed. Well, who took Tutu last year? Perhaps it was a mistake, but the Rams did, right? And that's where O'Connell was before. Jalen Tolbert is an outside pop the top guy. Both the Vikings receivers now pop the top. But both those guys.
Football.
Said to myself every Monday morning in the mirror, I'm going to pop the top today.
We don't want to hear about that.
Of these Flintstone vitamins. Yes. Yeah. Get my strong bones.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, both those guys, like that the Vikings have right now, they can play the slot. So, I mean, but also obviously outside as well. So it gives you the versatility. If you're going to take a receiver, you can either go the slot dude, you can either go with the outside guy. So they're not sort of pendant to anything. So I think Tolbert could be in play. Austin could be in play. David Bell could be in play, although I don't know. He's going to be a pretty good possession receiver in the NFL. I feel like he has awesome ball skills, was super productive in the Big Ten. It's just the athleticism thing with him. But I'd assume he's going to come off the board sometime in the third round. So maybe he's an option, but it seems like O'Connell sort of goes more for the explosive speed guys.
Hey, Thor, in totality, is this draft as drunk as it seems to be to me, or is that just a recency bias of the process playing out? Because, and I don't know if it's because, as you talked about off the top with us, that the top half of this draft was not as strong as it ordinarily is, and the rest of it was stronger. But it feels like we've seen more wheeling and dealing and weird things transpire within the first 2+ rounds now of this draft than we ordinarily see, especially early on.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Yesterday we had, more trades than we've had in the first round since at least 2010, since the draft went to 3 days. And also multiple more trades, including wide receivers that included first round picks after we'd had an off season where we had multiple blockbuster trades like that. So that was all crazy. And then the decisions of some of these teams, this was a process where people kept their cards really close to their vest. People were sort of down on the class for sure, but the teams were keeping, again, their cards close to their vest. That's why everyone you would talk to would tell you, this draft, if you're laying it out, it's more unpredictable than, like any class in the past decade. So yeah, no, it definitely has been. And then the speed of yesterday, like where they were sprinting the cards up each team, like it's been a crazy draft so far.
Hey, I want a couple things, and we can actually, I don't know how often we've gone 5 wide here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, but we got a couple guys in the vent line green room that we can get to. But a couple house cleaning things. Number one, if you are hanging out with us here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, if you could click the subscribe button and the like button and help spread the word about this community of Vikings fans that you guys are helping us build here, and in turn, we'll give you daily Vikings entertainment as well. Also, this is going to be a thing. There is a story from a few years ago. Court documents show that LSU's Ed Ingram was accused of sexually assaulting 2 minors when he was 16 years old. So I'm getting this from a Deadspin write-up, but I haven't read through this whole thing, but he's definitely going to have to answer questions about this, and so will Kwesi. So, yeah, I don't want to speak off the cuff right now because I haven't read the whole story, but that is a character thing that's going to have to be answered at some point here. Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad, our executive producer Declan Goff, and Thor Nystrom from